On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype. We make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what go a blessed and wonderful Tuesday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now my peeps, you don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps. We're going to kick it off over there, smack in the middle of downtown Kingston, where yesterday a brazen and brutal knockings and clappings took place. And whilst the criminal elements, them are trying to escape from that knockings and clapping scene, them and members of the JDF, the Jamaica Defense Force, squared off in downtown Kingston. Now, information surrounding that knockings and clappings is kind of sketchy right now, but I promise On The Spot News Media will most definitely get the name and face of that criminal element that was taken out by the soldiers along Haywood Street and bring it to you, the regular members of Chan Public, in subsequent newscast. Yeah man, may I tell you, say the criminal elements them deal with the situation grimy. Now over there in the parish of Clarendon, I want to look on the screen and see if you know them criminal elements here. Because these criminal elements were held by the police in the Spaulding area of Clarendon during an attempt robbery, which the police were also fired upon by these criminal elements. They are suspected to be the criminals that was trying to break and enter into that establishment. Now, we get some information on some of them, but the rest of them definitely need some help from the regular ones and ones them out there if you identify these criminal elements. So if you know them, link up the squad of them as Spaulding and make them know what is what. And of course, as always, if you do not trust them, link On The Spot News Media after here, and I will most definitely pass on the information to the relevant authorities who can most definitely make effective change. Now, as it relates to this one presently on your screen, we get to understand him come from a place known as Santa Hill. Yeah man, he is a known criminal element in that area. Now, as it relates to him and his cronies, and the Spot News Media will most definitely be doing some digging and see if I can ascertain their names, aliases, and where they're from, and to see if we can unearth some of their crimes that they have committed in previous times. Yeah man. But now, my peeps, I could move on over to the neighboring parish of Senton. Now, a cell search was carried out at the Ocho Rios police lockup. When time I say neighboring parish, you know, neighboring don't necessarily mean beside, it can be above. And St. Anne's falls above Clarendon. Yeah man. Now, a cell search was carried out at the Ocho Rios police station lockup. And these are the implements that was discovered in that police lockup. So only members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, whether they are district constables or constables, work at that lockup. No correctional officer, no warder, no work right there. So right now the squad of them definitely go on good. In the morning here, we have a bonus small fire upon the squad of them we are carrying them thing here, going to the jail cell. Because them same thing here probably won't be used against you, the person we are carrying. But the man them we are do a decent spot of work and decide say them not in the slackness, go in there and end up lose them 3 points. I want to look upon that big old chopper there. That circling at the little green marker there so. Is a big hunting knife that. How on earth that reach in our prison cell. So to the superintendent in charge of the Senton Police Division, you definitely need to do a divisional shake up and weed out some of them bad eggs there from among you, because they're putting the lives of your subordinate officers in danger. Obviously, they are not on the side of law and order, but on the side of criminal elements. Yeah, man. Now moving right along, my peeps, going into a westerly direction. We are going to stop right over there in the St. James Police Division, where a matter is presently before the courts right now. We have spoken about some of these judges time and time again that keeps handing out bail to some criminal elements brought before the court for some serious crimes. When we can understand that a man get bail for a robbery, a man get bail for a non-violent crime, we can understand that. What we can't understand is that a man brought before the courts for use an illegal weapon, for slaughter people in the streets, and you give him bail. And then they continue to commit themselves in the streets and make the justice system look foolish. Now we know it's a clique thing running at the court, and a which lawyer know which judge, and a little piece of thing might run on the table, and you don't know grease up people palm, because we don't know say so the streets of Jamaica run. And from the streets run so all other sectors of society basically run the way there. Sad to say, but the truth is the truth. Now a case is being tried in the Mobay Parish Court, where this 15-year-old female at the time of her untimely passing, sad to say, identified as Shineka Gray. Now, this case happened way back in 2017, and the man convicted for her loss of life, one of the two convicted for her loss of life, is identified as Mario Morrison. He pleaded guilty to her loss of life back in 2022. Well, before we get into the whole thing, let me just give you a brief rundown on what actually took place. Now, the 15-year-old at the time was a student of the Green Pond High School, and she was found lifeless in bushes in Irwin, St. James, with multiple knife up wounds all over her body on the 1st of February in 2017. Now, the criminal element identified as Mario Morrison pleaded guilty to her loss of life in September of 2022 and was sentenced a month later to life imprisonment. Now, his co-accused, presently before the courts, is being tried. He's identified as Gregory Roberts. Now, last week, Morrison testified that Roberts requested him to record him, that is Gregory Roberts, doing the knifing up of Shineka. He stated, that is Mario Morrison stated, and I quote, "He passed the phone to me and said, 'Dog, video this for me.' And he said that he was there videoing, and his co-accused, which is Roberts, took a knife and started to knife up the little girl while she was on the ground. He stated that the 15-year-old started crying and bawling, even saying, 'Lord, this is what you going to do to your daughter?' Can you imagine?" End quote. What a wicked and brutal and horrific way to go. The child was on the ground crying out to God, and that didn't faze the slayer at all, as he repeatedly used a knife to plunge her in her chest. Boy, may I tell my peeps, the thing rough. But the thing is, the one that actually admitted and confessed to her loss of life, Morrison, he was out on bail for another loss of life. He was granted bail in that matter that is presently before the court, might I add, in October 2016. So that's basically 3 months before the schoolgirl lost her life. And as I stated, the other charges is still hanging over his head as the case is still before the court. But sad to say, my peeps and fellow Jamaicans, we will not see a change in these things until the child or a loved one of quote-unquote the upper echelon lose for them 3 pints to one of these repeat offenders. Then and only then we'll see the change, because change don't come in Jamaica until it start affecting a certain class of people. Really sad indeed. But anyway, make we continue. Now over there in the neighboring parish of Hanover, a section of Hanover known as Hopewell, this young man, identified as Nathaniel or Natty, as his alias in the streets, was taken out by another male by the usage of a knife. He lost his life whilst undergoing treatment in the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. Poor me, I tell him my peeps. The thing rough. And over there in the parish of Westmoreland, 2 men end up losing 3 points in separate incidents. All of that took place over the weekend. Criminals continue to wreak havoc in that parish. One of the deceased men has since been identified as 54-year-old Omar James, said to be a fruit vendor of St. James. The second victim has only been identified by his alias as Rasta. So reports reaching on the Spot News Media is that the Savannah Lamar police stated that around 6:10 a.m. James was unloading his fruits from his motor vehicle when a motorcycle drove up with 2 criminal elements aboard. It is said that one of the men approached James and opened gunfire, hitting him in the head. It is said that the men drove off on the same motorcycle. Residents in the area summoned the police, and upon their arrival, on the Spot News Media was informed that James was seen laying along the roadway in a pool of red substance with 1 single corner wound to the head. He was, however, taken to the hospital where he was officially pronounced you know what. Now, the next knockings and clappings took place sometime shortly after 10 o'clock in the morning on Namprel Road. It is reported that a gentleman was coming out of his premises in his vehicle when he was pounced upon by a man who cornered him up several times in the vehicle. He was subsequently pronounced you know what on the location. Boy, me I tell him, peeps, the thing rough. Now, this is the man presently on your screen. Picture courtesy of Franz, the newsman. Yeah, man. Marlon is said to be an employee of Rondell Village. He was conned up by the criminal elements, leaving him lifeless, no longer among the land of the living. Now, I'm pretty sure that people saw and knew of his perpetrator, and their mouths are closed, zip, shut, tight. Nobody now say nothing. And this happened in a broad daylight. But until it comes knocking on our doors, then and only then we are going to understand that giving information is definitely needed for counter crime and violence that is crippling our great nation. So my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscasts. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.